So today we're going to do a Barbie shoe. So to do a Barbie shoe, we actually need a foot, right? We're not just going to build the shoe or clothing or any other accessory for the most part without having a shoe or something. So let's start by getting a sphere, click and drag, hit edit, and then don't forget to press make a polymesh 3D. And so I'm just going to do a quick foot here. Make sure you have symmetry on when I manipulate both sides at the same time. And let's go to geometry and already run a Dynamesh on this tool here. 128, 150 is good, Dynamesh. All right, I'm gonna grab to start here, I'm gonna turn it to the side profile here. I'm gonna go to my brushes here, and I'm going to grab my Move Infinite. And so I'm trying to imagine the foot from the side here. So hold on Control, and let's mask off the bottom of the sphere. Turn on Move, and stretch that out. Okay, clear the mask. Pull another mask to activate the Dynamesh. Let me make sure I have my, let's see, Lightbox brushes. Smooth, stronger brush on. Right. Now we can smooth line. All right, so back to the Move Infinite here. So we're gonna pull this down. Let's say this is the heel right here. We're gonna pull this down. We're gonna put her in a bit of a tippy toe, right? Not flat foot, because she's gonna be wearing heels. So right, and then maybe just pull this up. So once again, we're gonna work the profile, right? I'm gonna do the profile. And I'm not gonna do the full leg here, just the foot, part of the leg, so I can do the shoe. Okay, smooth Dynamesh, smooth. Remember when I say Dynamesh is because I'm pulling a mask next to the tool, and that activates the Dynamesh. Okay, smooth. Now you can see I'm smoothing, but it's not smoothing very efficiently. So let's turn down the resolution. 88 is good. Dynamesh again. There we go. So now we're really smoothing more power. Let's turn it to the front. From the front, same thing. We can, with the same Move Infinite, let's, make sure you have symmetry on. There we go. Pinch it a little bit. There we go. Turn it from the bottom here. Let's grab the Move brush. Move. And then remember, with the Move brush, always bring the intensity down, right? You want to bring the intensity down to under 5. Okay, so there we go. Let's see, usually the heel pinches a little bit, right? So we're going to pinch that a little bit, the middle of the foot. Maybe open this up. Maybe pull the front, bit of a tip, and then smooth the sides. Actually, don't smooth the sides. There we go. Smooth the top, because we're going to keep that flat. And I'm not following any reference. You know, it's always better to follow some reference. This is one of the few things that I would say you're okay to maybe get in here and design in Zbrush. It'll probably still take you longer than if you draw it. But if you get, decent enough with this software, this is one of the things that you can wing. I'm going to try to keep the bottom of the front here as flat as possible. So I'm going to mask that off like there. Hold Control, click here to invert the selection. Then let's see, let's turn on Move. Let's turn off the gizmo. Let's play around with the transpose line, right? We're going to click and drag. So the first circle becomes the anchor, and the last circle becomes the lever. So then when you pull back on the last circle, you get an effect like this. You get a nice flattening. All right, clear the mask, Dynamesh. I haven't done any shoes for Barbie in a long time, but back in the day, before even working on the computer, we used to have to do them by hand. And so it's actually very similar to this in wax, because you basically took a Barbie foot and you cast it or you melted wax on it and then sculpted the shoe around that, and then maybe cut that in half, break it off, and then weld it back together, and you had your little Barbie shoe. Very, very fine with a lot of detail. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, you might be already, but usually for dolls, the feet are symmetrical though. So you don't make two shoes, you have one shoe. And it's perfectly symmetrical, but you know, when you put it on both feet, it looks like right and left, but it's just one shoe that you make, not two. Here, I'm gonna grab the inflat, I for inflat, and we're gonna round off this part here. Oh, bring down the intensity on this one to 3. There we go. Kind of like a foot, give or take, right? This is probably lower here. I'm gonna deflate, maybe inflate a little here. A foot with socks on, right? No hard detail, just everything nice and smooth. And then symmetrical. So we're making it symmetrical to the middle. Inflate, Dynamesh. Okay, that's pretty good for what we need. I'm going to increase the resolution now. Dynamesh, now I can really get in here and smooth that out. Not worry about losing the nice curves that I have. All right, so that's a foot right there. Little thick on the side, maybe. Let's turn on the move, turn on the gizmo, turn off symmetry, center, and then squeeze down in a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this top here, Control-Shift-Click, Alt, Delete, Hidden, Dynamesh. All right, let's do a save. I always tell you guys, make sure you save on the desktop here. Let's go this foot. So that's the ZTL that I'm saving, right? The tool. All right, with a foot down or having a foot made, then the next part would be we're going to do a masking on this. So we're going to do like a high heel shoe. So let's see. We'll hold on Control, come up here and bring up the lasso. And then with the lasso, let's just get a little part of that. There we go. Boom, boom. Okay. Maybe a little more on the middle here. Okay, let's go back to hold on Control and put the mask pen back on so I can actually get in here. Okay. Now I don't have symmetry on. So I'm gonna have to mirror and weld this once I extract it because, okay, that's good enough. You can keep fixing that. Remember that for the masking, you can always use the masking palette here and all the options you have. You can blur, sharpen, blur, you can shrink, you can grow, and so a lot of control with the mask there for the surface, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let's go ahead and go to Subtools. And in Subtools here, we're going to go to the bottom of Subtools and hit an extract here, right? So let's see, the thickness is 0.02, so we're going to do extract. That's good, except now this is really thin for a shoe of this size, but it's okay because we're gonna change this in a minute. So remember, anything you extract, let's hit solo here for a minute. Anything you extract, you have what's called polygrouping. The interior and the exterior shell are going to have different polygrouping or different colors, and so that allows you to tensillate or stretch out the border between the two of them. Okay, so if you go to deformation and you go polish by features, and you scroll on this all the way, usually look at what happens to the border between the two there. Okay, so that's got a great way to clean that. Now, in this case, what I need to do, even though that's sort of like a bit of the shoe there, right? That fits over there. It doesn't, it fits into the scan, so that's not good. And moreover, I want to make this back part flat, and the same thing for the front. So in order to do that, best thing to do is, because if you see this, you know, it's like that's what the inside looks. So better just to work with the outside skin for what we're doing next. So we're gonna flip this and we're gonna Control Shift click on the outside surface. Now the inside topology is hidden. So we're gonna do delete hidden. And then we're gonna come down here to the geometry palette in the Dynamesh. Let's see, let's put this up to 230 maybe, Dynamesh. Okay, we're at 246, that's fine. So now with this, we got a chunk. We flip the normals on this. You can see it's a solid chunk. So now we put the foot on there and we flip it. You can see it's also very close to the skin. So let's start by, if this was a, you know, 8-inch doll, 10-inch doll, this would be way too thin of a piece of plastic. So here's one thing we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and turn on the move, center, and we're gonna do an inflate on this here. On the little inflate slider down here, we're gonna click and slide. Another way of doing that, by the way, is to click and pull on the little square, but you have to hold down Control. If you don't hold on Control, it'll be the scale. So to do the inflate on it, you hold on Control, and when you click and drag, that'll inflate it. Inflating assures that you're staying in the exact curve of the surface you're inflating around, right? If you scale out, you might lose the perfect fit. So that's the difference between scaling and inflating. Let me flip this back. Let me do a Dynamesh on it. Okay. Let me flip it again. Do a little more. Okay, that's something that can be printed there. And I'll do a little crease. Oh, we'll come and inflate on here. So let's flip this back. Okay, now back to the control here. Let's put on the lasso again. All right, and we're gonna grab the back part of this like this. Okay, hold on Control and click on the screen to inverse the selection. Control again, and let's mask this off. Let's stay there. So now I can turn on the gizmo here. So already on center the selection, and I can pull this down. I can make it flat with the little green rectangle. Pull it all the way to the middle. There we go. Bring it all the way down to the little past the model, the part here. Then I can actually don't hold on Control. Just click on the little yellow square and shrink. Actually, that's not doing it as good as I want it. Let's come up a little bit here. Let me see. We go back again. See, by the way, why we do that Dynamesh and how it stretches things. So I want to go back here because I want to get a cleaner pull on that. So I'm going to maybe fade. Actually, no. We're going to sharpen. Let me give you less of that. Anyway you get to it. Let's go to the masking palette here and find the sharpen mask. There we go. Now center. Blend. Shrink. It's going to do it again anyways. All right. Clear the mask. Let's go back to draw. Do a Dynamesh. And here, grab the Move Infinite. Let's mask off these parts here. Okay. Actually, let's go with the Move brush. You just squeeze that in. And then towards the back. And then back forward. Clear the mask, smooth. Then we're gonna hold on Control, and let's pull a mask from this part here, and let's flatten this back part here. Hold on Control, inverse the selection, turn on Move, turn off the gizmo, click and drag the transpose line, and then click and drag back from the last circle. Okay, now click and drag front to back, and then let's bring the back forward a little bit like that. There we go. Clear that. Dynamesh. So I'm going to give this front here a little more inflation. Smooth, 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 smooth. And let's see, let's just go smooth. Control Shift, click and drag, and then hold Alt. Okay, that's fine. Delete hidden, Dynamesh. So now they're both in the same flat area. So this shoe would stand flat, no problem. Okay. All right. Smooth the side here. We're going to make it so it can go on and off on the foot. You can print this separately and just, actually have different shoes. So you can see right there, we have enough, amount of plastic all around. I can inflate a little more right there. And from the side, we have about the same amount. Let's go ahead and inflate right there a little more. Okay, that's fine. You can grab the move. You can put the curves wherever you want them, get a little more aggressive curvatures right here. Maybe bring this up or this in. But I think we're basically there. I'm going to do one more thing. Is this out of symmetry? I think it's out of symmetry. Let's do mirror and well. There we go. This is getting a little weird here. Okay, smooth, 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 smooth. And let's say you wanted to put a little bow on this, right? How would you go about putting a little bow on this? Let me do another save. Okay, so if I wanted to put a bow on this, it's going to be a big bow that's going to cover part of the foot, but you wouldn't start it big. The way you would sort of start that right away is we're going to hold on Control, bring out the mask pen, right? And we're going to draw what would be the knot of the bow, and then we're going to mask here, not draw, mask in what the whatever you call these guys on a bow, right? So then do an extract. That's good. Accept. Clear the mask. So now remember, this has poly grouping, right? If we do a solo on here, if we go this, we got some Frankenstein poly grouping. Okay, so this is not desirable because what happens is if I turn off that and I go to move here and I say Control select, it's sort of not going to select the front surface. So I'm glad that happened because that shows us how we can avoid that. The reason that happened is because if you turn on polyframe on our guy here, we have these two mixed. So simple. We're going to do a group visible. And so now it's a solid color. We can't use these, so let's go ahead and delete those. But on this one, we still have the masking. But now like I said, we hit group visible. So now it's one solid color. So now when we extract again and accept, this guy, as you can see, has normal polygrouping. Clear the mask, solo, and so back to, so blue and gray. So this allows me to keep, to select either surface. So I'm gonna go move. If the gizmo's on, it works the same way, but so move, hold on Control, and click on the outside surface. So now that outside surface is selected, turn solo off. And here we're just, let's just grab the move brush. And this is, there's all kinds of ways of doing this, but doing it this way is very whimsical. So you're going to end up with a more fun bow than any other way, really. So then I'm going to pull this out and start giving me the shapes that I want and need. Okay, inverse pull it down a little bit. Here, clear the mask, and I'm gonna do an all over inflat here. This guy inflates everything. Okay, then let's go back to the where's the masking, close the masking and open deformation. And then in deformation, you're gonna use the polish by features. You can almost write this down because it's the deformation palette and polish by features, and it's just this what we use. I barely use anything else in here, but the polish by features, I use it a lot. So check this out. Boom, see how that got clean immediately? Now that's kind of sharp, and I actually want to round those out. Sometimes you want to fill it like that, but sometimes you want to round that out. If you want to round it out, it's as simple as you're going to have to group visible. So now there's no color information. So now the topology on this is still sort of simple, where it has single loops going across. So even if I do the polish by features here, it's still going to stay with that because of the topology. So let me go back. See it here. So then we'll do a Dynamesh. Okay, you see I kept the poly grouping. Now, check it out. If I come back here and I still do the polish by features, it'll still give me something like before. But if I group it now, group visible, because the topology is all squares. Now when you do polish by features, it rounds it out. It rounds it out, right? Very handy for doing details and stuff, right? So that's kind of very close to a final thing. I like the way it looks. It's draped on my shoe. I want to bring it closer to the foot. Let's grab the move here, make it big, and let's grab these back. Yeah, there you go. And bring this in. Now, let's grab the dam standard. Too much intensity at 33, bring the intensity down to 14, which was where we usually use it for everything. And then you're going to chisel in between here. Get the nice crease. And then these guys tend to have a little like that, right? Now, what if I want to basically pull that into the middle bow here? Let me round this off a little bit first. I'm going to hold down Control and bring up the mask lasso, and then I'm going to lasso or mask off that part, right? So now I can go to the move brush and pull these guys into the knot. Right? So you get this awesome connection here that'd be very difficult to do to sculpt otherwise, right? Now, invert the selection, grab the inflat, and this guy, what we want to do is inflate it, make it nice and round. There you go. That's kind of, I mean, considering I haven't been using reference or whatever, you know, that if you design in ZBrush, it's just going to take longer. It can be done. I just suggest you have a very good idea what you're going to do. In that way, you'll be able to do it faster. You start with a drawing or a solid idea. All right, now with that, let's prepare the shoe. Well, let's finish it up. Because let's say if you did 3D print this, it would snap when you try to put it in the foot. So we're going to do a few things to make sure that it could just go on the foot and stay on there and not snap. I'm going to take the shoe and clear the mask and merge it down with the bow always. This is kind of finished here, so I'm going to save as. In this version, I'm going to do foot 2. In case I ever need the shoe and the bow separately, I have the foot that I save over there. So foot 2 save. Okay. And then here, we're going to Dynamesh this. No, the Dynamesh is off. Yeah, it's off. Dynamesh. Now, if you flip the normals, you can see it's a solid shell. Next, we need to remove the foot from the shoe. So we're going to start by taking the shoe, and these little guys right here, you have a straight arrow and an arrow with a hook. The straight arrow changes the selection up and down. The hook actually takes the tool and moves it up and down. So this is what you would use to move a tool on top of another. The reason I did that is because the way the Boolean works in ZBrush, or removing a negative from a positive, it always works from whatever's in the bottom to the top. All right, so we're going to remove this foot from the shoe. So the way you do that is you basically make it a negative. Some of you guys have done this by error. You turn on this little ball. This little ball makes it like it kind of shows there, like one ball is hitting to the other. So this shoe is now a negative Boolean or a negative tool that's going to eat into whatever is on top of it. The way you turn that on, or the preview, is you turn on live Boolean. And you can see there what we're going to get. Now, if I actually did this and printed out the foot and printed out the shoe, these parts would not fit together because they're in the same space. You have to leave clearance between these two. So this is part of the lesson going forward when we start doing articulation and such, how much clearance to need. It's always the same. For that, you're going to take the foot. I like to duplicate it to have two. So I'm going to duplicate this foot. This is going to be my master that I did not alter at all. And this copy, that's a negative. This one, we're going to inflate by 3. And that's basically what you do for anything and everything when we're going to do a Boolean on here. So you click right on the middle of the inflat and you key in 3, enter. And so now that got inflated by 3. Oh, sorry. So then once you do the inflate of 3, you're ready to go. Now you have a clearance between these two parts once you print them out. So I'm going to go ahead. I like what I did. I inflated the part that I'm going to cut out. I can see the clearance, so I'm good to go. With the preview on, the live Boolean preview on, I'm going to hit make a Boolean mesh. Okay, then that's done. It made it for you, and it put it on another scene. Okay, so this is your scene, and this is the scene where the shoe has been finished and made. So you go back to your scene, and you hit insert. It's usually the last part here, the last tool, and there's the shoe that we just made. Turn off live Boolean. If you flip the normals on here, you can see this is a shell. Now, if you turn on the original leg that was not inflated, let me turn off the, or turn on the, you can see there's just a slight clearance between these two parts, right? So this is any other tool, the 3D prints that I brought to you guys that were articulated, etc. This is what I do to separate one part from another. If you, let me show you the difference between this leg, that's the original, that's not inflated, and the one that I inflated. See, this is how much material we remove, and this is the original. So now this shoe fits in here because there's a clearance. There's a clearance of 0.003 of an inch between these two parts here. They're basically touching each other. So this is the clearance that you would use to make anything and everything. A box, with a lid on it, a bottle, anything that goes into anything else with some just kind of slight friction, this would be it. I'm probably going to print this so you guys can see the sample of this. All right, so that shoe is done and ready to go. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a little slit from the back here because no matter what, actually in this case, we don't need it. In this case, we don't need it. I can tell here that this plastic will give enough when we slide it in here because there's just not that much of a, difference between this part and this part. So I was going to put a slit on it, but it's not going to need it. The foot should be able to slide in there, no problem. Okay, so if that's the case, then just to give you a preview so you guys see it all the way, I usually like doing one last Dynamesh on the part before I get it ready for printing. So I'm going to do one last Dynamesh on this to get rid of any errors. One final Dynamesh on the part, like when it's like this, eliminates little things that you can't see. So it really does go a long way to prepare the part for 3D printing without error. So that's one of the first things we do. After we're done sculpting and editing, etc. So we're done. We're getting this part ready for 3D printing. Dynamesh. So one final Dynamesh does the whole thing again. Anything that was free floating or not supposed to be there is now gone. Another thing I like to do, well, let's go ahead and do the decimation. Now, this is 1.9 million points right here. You can see it's a very dense mesh. If we send this through the 3D printer right now, it would overwhelm the slicing software because this has topology information that's not needed. So we need to decimate it. What's called decimated. So we're going to decimate this and bring it from 1.19 million points to, let's see, 150,000. These are shortcuts that I have right here, but basically it decimates anything you have to either 20,000 or 150,000. So I'm going to hit this one and I'll do an automatic process. You see, very quick right there. Bum, 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 bum. And see, now we're 150. Now, if you notice here, nothing really changed. But if I close in and turn on the polyframe again, now you can see it's made out of triangles. So once you decimate it, you don't want to sculpt on it again. You can Dynamesh it again. You can bring something in that's been, decimated like this and Dynamesh it in Zbrush and work on it. But you don't want to work on something that's been decimated. Now it's 150. So when we send it to the slicing software, it'll handle it no problem. The other thing is we most likely want to use the foot as the master guide for what size we're in, right? This foot side to side should be around 1/2 inch. That's still pretty thick, but let's see. Right now it's 1.76. So if I want to scale this out correctly, I'm gonna take the foot, move it up, and merge it with the foot that I just decimated there. Actually, let me take the foot. It's 600,000. Let's decimate the foot to 20,000. That's another part of the lesson here because you want to understand what size you're working in. Most of the figures already, you guys, either they're 8 or 10 inches, etc. But you do want to start, dialing in that size because that's part of this process. Remember, we're sculpting a toy, not just a 3D model that has no rules. It's a toy, and toys have a lot of rules. Now, with these two decimated, I'm going to merge down the foot with the shoe here. And I want to separate them from this scene where it has the other two. So I'm going to hit clone. That's going to put it on a separate scene by itself, these two parts. I can hit auto group and then Control-Shift, click, split hidden. And now we're separate again. And now I can use, well, actually, I shouldn't have done it yet. I need to scale it out while they're together. So merge down again. And let's say from side to side, the shoe is 1/2 inch. So then side to side, or the side side to side on here would be ear to ear would be the X. There's the X side to side, the Y up and down, and the Z, which is front and back. So I want it to be 1/2 inch. Actually, it'd be the longest distance. So the bow here, let's say 0.60. So on the X here, I want it to be 0.60. The measurement up here is the height, which is 5 inches. I'm going to turn on move. I'm going to turn on the gizmo, turn off symmetry, center it, and let's scale this down until the X is 0.60. Oh, I went too fast. 0.65. 6.2 is fine. X 0.62. So now I know from here to here, this is 0.62. Now, when I Control-Shift click, split, hidden, now these two are separate, as you can see. And now we know that the shoe is 0.60 from here to here. So then and these both of these have been decimated. They're 150, so we're nice and light. So while the shoe is selected, we would go to C plugins, 3D print hub. We've been working in inches, so let's see, update 0.62 right here. So that's communicating from the slider down there. So now we know in inches, and the X, this is 0.62, and the rest gets scaled out. Now, we want to export for 3D printing in millimeters. So after you do the settings here in inches, you simply select millimeters, and then you hit export to a STL. So there we go, save, and this is going to give you this little box here if you have more than one tool. I usually always go with a choice tool, which is use the subtool name that's on the little box down there describing the tool. And there, we just exported an STL ready for print of the foot and the shoe, and the scale where the shoe is 6'2" side to side, and front to back is let's see, 1.05 of an inch. Okay, so that's the lesson for that.